Hello, everyone. As a quick introduction, my name is Keegan Cotton. I'm the Director of Customer Success for our Americas and APAC region for Guesty, the property management software. Joining me today are three guests from kind of varying backgrounds. First, as we're talking about multi-channel diversification today, we have two representatives from two of the OTAs that Guesty and many other PMSs are connected to as of today. We have Gregor Schweitzer, Director of Connectivity and Business Development from Marriott Homes and Villas, as well as Corey Blitz, the Head of Enterprise Sales from Hopper Homes. Rounding out the panel, we have Fabio Cardoso, the CEO of Namai Hospitality, to be bringing the property management opinion or kind of side of things to this conversation. So we're not just only hearing from the channels. We want to understand how can we tie all these channels together to effectively expand our businesses. As a quick overview of what we'll be going through today, first, I'm just going to go through a couple of overviews of what are some of the benefits of having multiple channels that you're connected to. That'll just be about a brief 10 minutes, and then I'll hand it over to our speakers to go through. We'll hear from Corey and Gregor on really what are the benefits of their two channels and what can you get, what are the target personas, what do they typically succeed in? And then we'll hear from Fabio, who, like I mentioned, is going to kind of tie it all together and see what does that multi-channel approach look like from the property management side. And then, of course, we'll round things out with the panel discussion. So, kicking into it. To make it simple as possible, more channels equals more reach. It is really that simple. Adding channels is a clear path to expand your business as a property manager. Why is this? What are the key factors that go into this? To break it out into three key points. Number one, you're getting more exposure and more book nights. With more booking sites that you're exposing your properties on, you're getting more exposure and more booking opportunities. We found from our own internal data that property managers who added a second channel can increase bookings by 50%, up to 50%. And with more channels, these numbers grow. Why is that? That's largely due to reason number two. These channels target different audiences. We'll even hear a little bit about this today by hearing from Marriott and hearing from Hopper. You'll kind of notice that they are targeting different audiences typically, which is given the nature of their brands. Each booking site reaches a different type of traveler based on their demographic. It's rare that you'll meet someone who says, oh, when I look to book a short-term rental, sometimes I'll check booking.com, sometimes I'll check Vrbo, sometimes I'll check Airbnb. What's much more common is someone finds a brand that they resonate with, that has worked for them, and so they continue using that brand, and therefore they're an audience member of that specific channel. The third reason why this is so valuable is because it diversifies your revenue. So this is really important, especially for property managers that we see coming into Guesty's customer base that are only connected to Airbnb, who've traditionally found a lot of success with the channel, but it can get risky when something might happen where Airbnb might suspend your account for some reason. Even if it is for just 2 weeks and you get it sorted out with Airbnb, that's 2 weeks that your entire business operations are frozen. Whereas if you're on multiple channels, that's just one portion of your business that's temporarily down. Not something that we hope for by any means, but something that you definitely want to be prepared for. And channel diversification can help with that in a big way. So, big part of channel diversification, though, is it's a lot easier said than done. If you don't have a tool that's allowing you to connect to these different channels, that simple more channels equals more reach isn't so simple anymore, because you need to be sure that all the reservations that are flowing in from these different channels, from Marriott, from Hopper, from Airbnb, are aware of one another and you're not getting double bookings. That's where property management software comes in. That's where Guesty comes in. So this is where Guesty can really shine as a channel manager alongside our other functionalities that can take care of pricing syncing, availability syncing, communication management, all from one place. So you're able to get the most out of those channels without that added effort that can naturally come along with it. Like I mentioned, Guesty has a lot of other functionalities beyond the channel manager. Our channel manager alone allows you to increase bookings and revenue per channel with maximized channel exposure and optimized nightly rates, save time with efficient booking channel connectivity and channel management, including real-time syncs rather than maybe once every 24 hours. You're able to get full control over your data, mitigate manual work and mistakes through automation, and a lot more. But I don't want to be too much of a sales pitch today. I want to get into the good stuff and talk about channel diversification and how that can really benefit your business. I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Corey from Hopper. So, Corey, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and kick it on over to you.
I hope everyone's having a great week and looking forward to the weekend. I am going to be speaking about Hopper Homes. I know I was introduced briefly. I lead our sales efforts here at Hopper. And so that is any property manager, individual host, or host that comes through one of our connectivity partners like Guesty. I have a team that sort of works through each of those different channels to acquire inventory and put it on Hopper Homes. Okay, a little bit about Hopper. We were founded about 15 years ago. Most folks know us through our flight booking engine and flight tracking engine. And so we originally started as a kind of niche small business where you could track flights. We would recommend when to book or not book a flight, and then you could subsequently book or not book that flight. We did that for about 10 years pretty successfully. We built a nice little business doing so. And then something really fortuitous happened right before the pandemic, where we simultaneously launched a hotels product, a rental cars product, and also our fintech suite. When I say fintech, I'll give you a couple of very quick examples. Number one being the ability to pay a premium upfront to cancel at any time, and also the ability to pay upfront to freeze a price. If you saw a flight to Barcelona and it was $200 and you wanted to freeze that price, you could pay a couple dollars upfront for the ability to pay that amount on the flight in the future. So when we did that in 2019, the pandemic happened about a year later, where everyone was looking for travel flexibility. And so we took our user base from about 10 million to 80 million users effectively overnight during the pandemic. And so we have these 80 million users using our apps to book their flights, rental cars, and hotels. And we also saw this wave into the short-term rental market space, where folks were actually starting to prefer having their own kitchens, their own outside areas, especially when being in larger crowds was not as desirable for most folks. And so we raised about $750 million over that time, and we decided to kind of poll our customers as to where we wanted to deploy those funds. And when we asked our customer base, hey, would you prefer booking hotels or short-term rentals? 60% of those customers, those 80 million customers that we have, decided that they would rather book short-term rentals than hotels. So for us, it was a no-brainer. We already had the customer base. They were already booking their flights through Hopper. And so we could say, hey, would you like to book the short-term rental home? Yes, no, it's a great product offering for us. Why did that then make sense for property managers and for hosts alike? And in that lies the discussion for today, which is around who is Hopper's customer and why do we matter and how do you gain access to that customer? I'm going to speak a lot about kind of our app customer base, which is the millennial and Gen Z market, which we have a large percentage of the market on. We also have partnerships with Capital One and Agoda, where if you have a Capital One credit card and you book travel, you're actually booking Hopper through that travel portal. We power that travel engine. And so you gain access to our app users, but also through to our anyone who has a Capital One credit card, which is a little bit more affluent user base. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the app user today. Like I said, we grew really, really rapidly. We were, as of this year, number 17 on the overall app charts. We're number one in travel. And so this ascent, like I said, has been really quickly and obviously benefited quite a bit from this need for flexibility and our introduction of a few new products like homes. And so just a brief timeline on Hopper Homes. We launched in 2022. We give you access to our app users as well as our credit card portal users. We use fintech to increase conversion for our property management partners. We actually took a different approach. Before we launched, we spoke with property managers and learned about a bunch of their pain points on some of the other legacy OTAs. And so we built our product with the property managers in mind as the customer rather than the guest in mind as the customer. And so you'll see some of those features coming in later. And just kind of generally, we've had our best quarter to date in Q1. We've been growing about 138% quarter over quarter in terms of demand. And so we're really excited about what we've been building. Little bit about kind of our general outlook on the market. And so as most of the folks here know, we are in a very strange time from an economic perspective. The markets have been a little bit more unpredictable than they had been over the past 10 or so years. Their second homes are getting more expensive, especially lately with mortgage rates going up. And so it becomes harder for property managers to acquire new inventory, and it becomes more competitive for property managers to acquire new inventory. And so one of the things that we think is going to lead to property managers, differentiating themselves is to provide some sort of innovative solutions for their property or for their homeowners, I should say. And one way to do that is through trying innovative products like Hopper, like Marriott Homes and Villas, where you are not just using the same 1, 2, or 3 OTAs that everyone else is using, but you're thinking differently, and you're showing your homeowners that you are thinking differently than your competitors. And so I think the easiest way to do that today is by capturing a market segment that's historically opted out of short-term rentals, but is new to the arena and taking much more wallet share within the short-term rental space. And that generation is the Gen Z and millennial generation. And so those two generations represent almost 50% of the US population today. And so I don't mean to be morbid, but boomers, Gen X, they are slowly fading into retirement. They are much more cost conscious. They are much more conscious of saving money and probably less willing to travel in recessionary markets or in unpredictable markets. Gen Z and millennials, I feel comfortable saying this as a millennial, we are a different breed. And Gen Z especially, we travel more than any generation in history. We save less than any generation in history. And we spend all of our disposable income on travel. And so to be able to capture, I see Keegan nodding because I think he's probably a millennial as well.
Yeah.
To be able to capture this segment of the market, you have to think differently. These people are not using laptops. I'm on a laptop now, but only for work. You look at a millennial and Gen Z person walking down the street, they are on their phones constantly. And so marketing through Google AdWords, the Google ad space, SEO, it doesn't work with this generation. You have to think differently, and you have to do so in kind of a very few select ways. These people, like I said, are going to be on their phones first and foremost. And so I have kind of 3 suggestions as to how to tap into this market. The first is going to be my selfless plug, and then the other will be hopefully more productive to the rest of the group. My selfless plug is that we have 80 million customers that use our app. 80% of those people are under the age of 35. And so of all of the OTAs, the largest share of millennial and Gen Z is owned by Hopper for travel. And so leveraging channels like Hopper to tap into this market is a really good way to start to get into that market. Once you do so, you have to also find channels that are going to help you grow your direct site business and remarket to these customers. Some channels do not provide you guest contact information because they do not want you to remarket. These customers for Hopper, they're already booking their flights, hotels, cars, etc. through us. So we are much more comfortable displaying that information to you. And so you can actually tap into this customer by getting access to the customer from Hopper, then remarketing to your direct site and making sure that that remarketing speaks to that customer. And we'll get into a little bit of that shortly. And then finally, you can't, like I said, just bid on AdWords and hope to get these millennial and Gen Z customers. You need to think differently. These people, most of their buying decisions are happening on Instagram and TikTok. That is the reality. I buy most of my clothes based on Instagram. I'm a little ashamed to admit that, but it's the truth. They are also making their
honestly, same. So
yeah,
there you go.
They're making their vacation rental and short-term rental decisions based on social media. And so, one way to do that is to hire a really unique and innovative marketing person who can help you market your properties on those social media sites, right? We need to start to think differently. This industry is in a lot of ways really innovative, but in a lot of ways really archaic. Everyone is bidding on the same AdWords. It's not going to work anymore. And so you really do need to think differently, I think. Quick plug on just our partnership with Guesty. We've spent a lot of time with Guesty optimizing this new integration. This integration is only 6 months old. And so the tech perspective of it is really, really strong. We've gotten really good feedback on how easy it is to onboard. I think between Guesty and our partnership, we've made it such that from the day you decide you want to sign up to the day you onboard is about 3 days. And so we can assist you through that process. I'll give you contact information, but we feel really, really good about our partnership with Guesty. And I think I'm running out of time. Keep me honest here, but just in summary, to kind of go through some of the points I've made. If you want to be innovative and you want to start to get more homeowners, more demand, and differentiate yourself against other property managers in the space, you need to tap into these younger markets. One easy way to do that is by using OTAs that give you access to them. Selfishly, I think Hopper is a great solution, but there are other solutions as well. And then take those customers and figure out your own voice to remarket to those customers. And so my suggestion is to think bigger about social media and to think a little bit differently in that way. But you can also just hire an amazing marketing manager who is Gen Z themselves, and they can probably speak much more intelligently than I can about how to reach that audience. But generally, I think this is one way to really be different than the folks that you're sitting next to in the markets that you operate. And so that is me. I put my email or our email for Hopper in the bottom left corner here. But that is it for me. I think I'm going to pass it to Gregor now, but I will stop
Corey,
sharing.
real quick before you
Sorry.
swap off, we had a question come through where someone just was asking, is there a plan for Hopper to launch in Mexico? Could you speak to the geographies that Hopper is supporting as of today?
Yeah, great question. We are currently only accepting USD and CAD currency. So if you accept either of those currencies, we can accept your inventory. We have international expansion plans, but our focus right now is really honing in on the US and Canada market, but we will eventually be accepting inventory in Mexico as well.
All right, Gregor, over to you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Guesty to organize this meetup and, of course, inviting us to attend it. So I'm Gregor Schweitzer. I'm working as a director of business development and a connectivity provider integration. I've been in the business from 11 years, and I used to work to rental platforms and software companies. Nowadays, I'm in charge of the Italian market and, of course, of the connectivity provider connection to integrate platforms such as Guesty. Today, I would like to talk about the benefits of multi-channel niche distribution and how does Homes and Villas by Marriott Bonvoy can help you to drive differentiation. And at the end of the slides, I'm going to show you a couple of examples of a business case on how we help those home management companies. So first of all, the benefits of multi-channel distribution versus multiple niche channel is mostly the fact that they're going to increase visibility and reach a wider audience and data access, right? So basically, we can't rely just on the main 3-4 channels that we already know which are, but we have to discover also new opportunities. Also, because the niche channel provide you unique opportunities to target specific customer. And we will see later how Homes and Villas by Marriott Bonvoy could help you on target these different customer. And then, of course, it's helping to compensate times of seasonality because everyone are really good in getting booking the high season, but then we have to find ways to get booking also out of season. And there, it's important to have a differentiation. And of course, at last but not least, increase bookings and revenue, right? So I'm going to introduce Homes and Villas by Marriott Bonvoy because it's a typical case of a niche channel that can help you to differentiate your distribution. First, I would like to talk a little bit about Marriott International and who we are. Basically, Marriott International, from who doesn't know us yet, we are in the business, we has been in the business since 95 years. And we have 30 hotel brands that actually we have Edition, W, Ritz-Carlton, up to Courtyards and so on. So from premium properties to high-end properties, and we have more than 8,000 hotels. So nowadays we are not only a hotel chain that probably most of you know us, but we are the world's largest travel brand. This is thanks to our Marriott Bonvoy travel loyalty program, where our member base is able to get access to hotels, travel content, inspiring experiences, and of course, home rentals. But if you go to look deeper about the loyalty program, we can see that Marriott Bonvoy is a totally new market. It was interesting to see also about Hopper, that Hopper already has their customer base. So they are not going to provide a unknown market. They already have a market as such as. Basically, we have 170 million members that we know them since a lot of time because we are adapt our offers to their needs. And basically here we have a little demographic that is explaining you that most of them are coming from USA, Canada, and Asia Pacific. Of course, even Europe, I didn't put there to don't overwhelm the slides. But then how our members are made up are families and group, experienced travelers, high earners, and age between 35 and 50. What that means? It means that here you have the chance to have a new high quality customers that are loyal to Marriott, right? So the only way to get access to this inventory is through a niche channel. And so just to give an idea, 90% of our bookings come from members, right? So if we are entering more in the details about Homes and Villas by Marriott Bonvoy, we are the only platform working with select property manager companies and Marriott's Bonvoy Travel Loyalty Program. So as a snapshot, today we have more than 100,000 premium and luxury homes globally. We are in 250 destinations globally, and 40% of those destinations are totally new to the Marriott ecosystem. So at this point, I would like to bring you and show you how a couple of business case and how we helped a couple of partners to increase their visibility and also their booking. So first of all, here we have an HMC who is based in a well-known urban European city, where basically their inventory was made up of 2 or 3 bedroom inventory. And it's sad to say, but he used to have an average length of stays of 2 nights. And on the other hand, he was including the cleaning fees in the nightly rate. So that's mean that every time he got a booking, because you already know how much, as average, how much it cost a cleaning of the house, basically he was losing money. But and because of as a solution, we work together. So he went through our partnership process. He was able to unlock unique customer base as Marriott Bonvoy members, and he was able to capture family and friends break travelers. So what that means? Large group that are looking to book longer, and of course also increasing the ADR. As a result, the result was great because he got like 4.4 nights as an average length of stay. And this is actually a really good result. And the first 2 months that he was live, he got more than $80,000 in revenue and basically also higher revenue from his side. This is just an example of how a niche channel can help you to diversify their business. I'm not saying that we are the only one solution because this is not possible, but we definitely help this HMC. Sorry, I'm saying HMC because we are referring to the property manager as home management companies. So in the other example is about the new customer segment. So basically this HMC is based in an island destination with premium and luxury inventory. Most of their guests are coming from Europe, and he wanted to diversify the customer base. So again, we started to work together, and they were super happy because we were able to provide him access to a large American and Asian member base. And actually, for him was quite hard to get those to capture those guests because he didn't have the right channel. The result was great. Again, he got access to the US guests. They got longer length of stay because if you think someone who is coming in Europe from the other side of the world, they are not coming just for the weekend, I would say mostly. And of course, also they had to increase the occupancy. At this point, I would like to conclude by highlighting 3 bullet points that actually, first of all, how a niche channel can help you to increase your visibility. So with unique guest travel patterns, that is definitely the first value on having a differentiation. Secondly, of course, in this case, is about Homes and Villas by Marriott Bonvoy, but could be Hopper or another channel that help to untap a market and basically provide new guests with, in our case, new currency. The last is diversified channel distribution. So what we said at the beginning, basically, we are able to get higher occupancy and then contribute to get higher revenue. So I'd like to close leaving you my contact details. And if you need any further information, feel free to reach me out or submit our form. I don't know if at this time there is any questions. Otherwise,
I had one come through specifically for Marriott for you, Gregor. Lydia from St. Martin reached out saying, is there a minimum number of listings for Marriott Homes and Villas for them to onboard to the platform?
Yeah, definitely. This is, as we are working with, only with professionals of the business, we have a minimum criteria that is based on the area. So I can't share it here now because it's depending literally on where you're based. Let's say in Europe, Italy, I'm in charge of the Italian market. We have a kind of number because it's based on the average size of the home management companies.
Would they be able to fill out the form on the screen right now and find out that way?
Yeah, definitely. And the best contact will contact him, providing him all information. Even the QR code is really comfortable. So feel free to use both of them.
Perfect. Alrighty, well, we can go ahead and wrap things up and hand over to Fabio if you're all wrapped up, Gregor.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me try to wrap up some of the strategies that we've been using to share with my colleagues here. So talking a little bit about Namai, we provide professional management service for short-term rentals. We are very focused. We work with different brands to guarantee we target the right audience, and we are very focused in technology, channel management, and revenue management. So this is what we are focusing on delivering to all the property owners that works with us. So the channels that the strategy that we work with, they are based in three different segments. One is, of course, B2C. So and all these segments, Guesty can help with all the tools that you provide in the platform. So first of all, the B2C, going direct to consumer. So doing a website, and of course using social media, email marketing, all the tools that is available to target directly the clients to make sure they're gonna book directly with you. The second segment that we work with is the OTAs, and then again through Guesty we can connect some of them directly, some of them via channel managers as Rentals United and SiteMinder, and of course we have to understand the target that we want to work with and which channels we're gonna step in. And the third segment are the B2B. So what other segments that we can work with that can bring additional revenues and additional clients to us. So for example, travel agents are a really strong segment. We noticed that Expedia has a very strong B2B platform too, strategy. So we see that a lot of bookings coming through Expedia, they're in fact coming through travel agencies, because the travel agents contact us and say, I have a client, they're staying with us, I booked for the client through Expedia, I need information. So this is a very strong segment that you can target directly and work with them directly. And again, Guesty has a tool. You can use the booking engine tool from Guesty and create white labels websites with the travel agency brand, and they can promote your properties to their clients using their brands. Of course, through operators, we work in one of the markets that we operate, that is Orlando, is very strong with sports. So we have some sports agencies that bring teams to play here in Orlando. So we also work with them. And for all of them, we have direct connection using Guesty. So for this segment, Guesty has the API. So you can connect through the API and talk to the clients. And not only the connections that Guesty have, they have all in the financial part, all the markups and commissions that you can create there. So you can negotiate the commission and put the commission. So when the booking comes in, it's already considering the commission, because most of the times the agreement with the owner is that you get your commission after paying the commission of the channel. So it's important to set this up, and Guesty has all the tools to make sure that you can like create your revenue management strategy. You can create your commission strategy, your markup strategy if you have to mark it up for some of the channels. So inside the system, you can like develop all this. You just have to understand where you want to go. Talking about results, here's a comparison of what we are doing based on the market. We use it, one of the products that we have that are based in Kissimmee, so vacation homes, clients coming to Disney. So today, if you see like all the channels that we work with, 25% are direct channels. So sales that we do direct, either to consumer or to travel agencies, but they come direct to us. And then the other ones, all the other channels that we are connected with through OTAs. If you have your occupancy, like for the past 6 months, the average of the market here in Kissimmee was 62%. We did 73%. If you look specifically, for example, January, Orlando market in January is low season, but we know the Brazilian is the third international market to Orlando, so we focus a lot on the Brazilian market, and they have their summer vacations in January. So we like around 60 to 70% of our clients in January were coming from Brazil. So this is the reason why while the market had 56% occupancy in January, we were at 75% occupancy. And the same with the average ADR. So the average of the market was 192 for a 4-bedroom townhome, and we were doing 265. And one of the reasons also was because of direct bookings, and because we are targeting different markets, for example, international markets that books in advance, between 3 to 6 months in advance, and they pay higher, because as soon as you get to the check-in, usually the rates go lower, and US market is a very last minute booking for this specific market. So we've been succeeding also having a higher ADR by diversifying our strategy on the sales channels. Here's is an example of the B2C initiative that we did. So we have our website, and then we partner with a company that use artificial intelligence, AI, to create landing pages. So what they do basically, they suck all the information from our inventory using AI, and then understand the type of portfolio that we have, and then they create the landing pages showing the differences that we have and what we want to target with our properties. And then they go by the keywords and the terms to guarantee that we have exposure on search and using it as EM, like paid marketing, advertising, or SEO, like just for searching. So an example that you can see here, they emphasize a lot like direct bookings. They have, for example, here a comparison. When you search for a date, they automatically book live. They check live what's the rate in Airbnb, and they put a comparison to the guest. So the same date for the same house, if you book through Airbnb, it's $101 more expensive than booking directly with us. And this helps also creating more bookings, direct bookings. If you scroll through the homes, you see the pictures, and then in between the pictures, he put phrases based on the keyword that the person used about that home, specifically that home. So it's really intelligent, and we're trying to get these clients directly to us. These are the results. Like, it's a little confusing, but it's all the keywords and terms that we used, and what we had as return as cost at CPC. CPC is the cost per click. So basically, the amount that we invested and how many people we clicked to see the advertisement that we made. So it's ranges between $1 and $1.9 and $3, and how much people got to the calendar search. So, for example, in March, 41.5% of people that got into our website made a search to check like rates and availability. So this was really good. And the third graph is like the keywords and the comparison of each keyword, which one is giving us a better result. So it's a really deep analysis that we can do, targeting the consumer directly.
Hey, Fabio, quick question on this data. You mentioned cost per click. Are you also tracking cost per conversion? How
Yes,
effective these landing pages are at getting the actual
yes,
transaction
we
to
are.
happen?
So the cost per conversion is that at the end, when you do a booking, then you calculate how much money you make with those bookings compared to how much you invested. You divide one by the other, and then you see what's the percentage, how much it costs in percentage. We are around like 2%, 2 to 3%.
Wow, that's
Cost.
really, really impressive.
Yes, it's really good. So the return is being really good.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
These are some examples of B2B initiatives. So one example is what I mentioned before, travel agency. So this is a website. This is a travel agency based in Orlando. They are very strong here selling tickets, tours to the parks, and then we partner with them. So besides selling tickets and tours, they are offering now also vacation rentals for their clients, and they have their own webpage that people can book and promote and do the reservation. And the other one is a partnership, is a B2B, is a airline company in Brazil. They call the name is Azul, and they have Azul Viagens, like a Delta Vacations, making a comparison. They are really strong. It's a very big segment for them. So we partner with them. We have an API connected directly to Azul. So when their clients search, when they are in Azul website, they can also book hotels and now vacation homes through us. And from time to time, we do promotions with them. So this promotion was an example where we packed the home with car rentals and airlines. We packed all together and sold as a single package. And they were promoting this to all their clientele with, of course, some advantage of discounts and whatever. So these are some of the examples of initiatives that you can do with different markets and different targets. And then finalizing the to-dos checklist that you have to do. I think the most important thing is define your target, your audience. Are your homes vacation rentals? Are your homes in urban markets? Or you're looking for corporate travel? So based on that, you're going to select which channel it's better for you to promote your homes. Of course, use a variety of channels. We have now, we are using, you asked between more than 7, we are using around 50 channels, different channels, between the OTAs that we are connected to Guesty, between the APIs that we use. We are trying to put as much channels as we can so we can diversify based on the types of properties that we have.
It's something I want to call out there because I think this has actually been really impressive on Fabio's part with Namai Hospitality. Guesty doesn't have direct integrations built out with 50 channels yet at this point. However, what Fabio has been able to do is he partners with these channels to have them code to Guesty's booking engine API. So he can build out his own integration to Guesty to allow that information to flow through seamlessly without an actual hard and fast Guesty integration being present, which has allowed him to really explode the number of channels that he's connecting to.
Yeah, in fact, you have the ones direct, like Airbnb, Hopper, Marriott coming, but you can use the channel managers as Rentals United and the other one that you have, SiteMinder, that can connect you to a bunch of channels. And then besides that, I also use these tools like the APIs, and depend on the channel. If they are not connected to any channel manager, I connect directly them to Guesty. So this is how we do. And then analyze and optimize and say, okay, what can I get? How can I get the best of each channel? So what can I do with Marriott? So I make sure that I can make more bookings there. So do they have any type of promotions? How can I access they have different types of clients. Marriott Bonvoy has like a diamond client, so we can offer special rates or provide like a basket when they get to the home. So partner with and understand the channel, what's the target of each channel, and how can we partner with them. It's really important. Of course, leverage direct booking channels. So as much as you can, try to as soon as you have the contact, retargeting, as Hopper was saying, retargeting the client to start booking directly with you. Be connected. All this distribution, you have to be online. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And again, Guesty has all the tools to make sure you are connected. And be creative, like think out of the box. So for example, there's another PMS in my area I can partner with because maybe they have an overflow. They can use my homes to book for the clients. Can I use realtors in the area? Maybe people contact them to book and they only want to stay like a month. and they cannot rent, so they can offer our homes to be there. So be creative and understand what can you do in each market for each product to bring more and more clients with different channels. And this is it. Thank you. Obrigado. Gracias. This is my contacts.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fabio. So let's jump into the Q&A here. I wanted to start by kind of focusing in on Hopper and Marriott, since we just heard from Fabio. Because what I really like naturally about this this panel is that it feels as though Corey has kind of the 35 and under locked, and it seems like Gregor has 35 and up locked. So these actually complement each other fairly well. So I want to kind of ask questions specifically to those audiences. So Corey, let's start with you. Like you mentioned, you're known for addressing Gen Z customers. You talked about mobile forward thinking, et cetera, et cetera. Can you explain how to cater to this Gen Z audience specifically, how to address them, what's interesting to them, how to market to them, just based on what you've seen thus far at Hopper?
Yeah, I'm happy to. And I think like the first thing I'd say is, as I stated in the deck and presentation, like traditional methods aren't going to work. I want to make that super clear. Like I said, they are doing everything on their phones. There's no keyword that you're going to bid on that's going to work here. A huge share of their wallet, like I said, comes from social media. So you need to think differently. I would even suggest hiring a marketing intern that can help you with your social media strategy, because if there's one thing to take away from this question, it is that social media is the path to Gen Z and millennials. But more concretely with your OTA strategy, these people are bargain hunters. They spend all of their disposable income on travel, and oftentimes they don't have a lot of disposable income. So, you know, a lot of property managers, and this is kind of a controversial thing in our space, are marking up their properties to cover different OTA fees and different PMS fees and, you know, everything, right? But if you truly want to tap into new markets, you sometimes do need to sacrifice little dollars here and there. On Hopper, for example, we have a lot of property managers that are not applying the same markup on Hopper as they would to Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, because they know that if they can win this one customer that Hopper has, they can remarket and retain that customer. And so you have to get a little bit more creative if you want to win it. And it depends on the state that you're in as a company, right? If you're 100% occupied and you're not so worried, then maybe I wouldn't suggest that. But if you are looking for more direct site bookers, then maybe you rethink your pricing strategy on some of these OTAs. That's probably the best answer I can give to that question specifically.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So kind of flipping to the other side of the coin here with Gen X and above, I want to move over to Gregor. Your channel, Marriott, caters specifically to luxury and high-end homes. I know you mentioned there's a lot of different considerations that go into which properties you accept on the platform. What would you say is Marriott's kind of ideal or template luxury listing? What if I'm a property manager and I'm trying to decide, is this a good fit for me or not? What would be a good kind of litmus test for a property manager?
Yeah, okay, thank you, Bobby. So actually, how we approach it is in that way. We have some must-have criteria that actually are like 24/7 support from a home management company or professional cleaning, high-speed Wi-Fi, and so on. But mainly, then depending also on the market, because we want high Wi-Fi speed, high-speed Wi-Fi, but on the peak of the mountain, it's difficult to have. So in some cases, we are able to provide some exceptions, of course, depending on the market. On the other side, we have a dedicated team who is basically going through a digital review, because to check all the units that we are approving or not. This is the only way for us to assure at least a quality check before the listing on our platform.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Now, kind of switching gears over to the property management side of things here, because Fabio, I didn't want you to feel like I forgot about you by any means. You mentioned 50 plus channels. That's a ton of channels, obviously. So it's you have to have gotten good at this point when you do something 50 times. So if I'm a property manager today, let's say the majority of customers or of property managers in the audience today answered that they're connected to 3 to 4 OTAs. What was the biggest the biggest challenge that you came across in expanding to 50 channels? Was that kind of an easy decision and you did it all in one fell swoop? Has this been the result of many years of building towards this? How did you get to the point where you were able to be on 50 channels?
Well, I came from the travel industry, so I work for tour operators. I work for Disney, so I know how it works, and what are the distributions and what is effective and what is not. So I have the experience on that. It's difficult because what happened, you have all types of channels. You have some channels that are passive. So, for example, Airbnb is a channel that you list and then you sit there and wait for the bookings to come in. There's not that much you can do. There are some other channels like booking.com, for example. They have a lot of promotions. They have a promotion of the month. You can like do mobile rates. So you can work with, so the challenging thing is first, understand the target of the channel. It's for the generations, which generation it's going to target to. And if your product is for that target, and what are the tools they have available for you to work with. Some of them you just connect and wait for things to happen. Some of them you have to be more proactive and check pricing, because pricing is really important. Check if they have promotional tools, what they're doing, why you're not booking. You have to have like your manager talking to them, say, listen, I'm not seeing any bookings. There's something that we can do to promote the home. So this, I think, is the biggest challenge of having like multiple channels of this. But again, from these 50 channels, 10 is you have to work hard to make sure it's gonna work. Some of them you just plug and wait for the bookings to come.
I really like that approach. And to even add to that, that's which channels are going to be worth the effort is going to change depending on what geography you're operating out of, what type of inventory you have, what your typical target demo is. If you're in Latin America, if you're in the US, if you're in Canada, depending on those factors, it may be, booking.com is much more successful on the East Coast of the United States than it is on the West Coast, largely because it's driving a lot of European visitors to the East Coast, much more traditionally than the West Coast. So sometimes it's not just, you're not going to get a clear list of OTAs that say these are all a great fit for you and these ones aren't. You kind of have to understand what are the benefits of this channel and how does that align with the inventory that you have, which it sounds like, Fabio, you've done a phenomenal job of maximizing that, they're optimizing that output, certainly. So I want to kind of go rapid fire down the list of questions that have come through just to be sure we can share all this information with the audience. One of the most important questions I saw here is, how do we connect to Hopper and Marriott from Guesty? They also asked how to connect to Namai. To clarify, Namai is not an OTA. They're here as a property manager just to round out the panel. Only Marriott and Hopper are channels. But as of today, we do have our direct integration with Hopper live to all customers from Guesty for Pros and Guesty for Hosts. For Marriott, we're currently in our pilot period and are launching the beta in the next 2 weeks, I want to say. So if you have any particular interest in joining that beta, if you want to reach out to Gregor from the Marriott team, he can loop you in and we can consider you for that beta, but it should be rolling out to all customers. I would estimate late May, early June at the latest, depending on how that beta goes. But the pilot has been very successful thus far, I will say. Okie dokie. Next question here. We had a question on Hopper. Can Hopper handle the payment for reservations similar to booking.com having payments by booking or Airbnb managing the payment processing? Or do customers need to manage the payments through Guesty or through another PMS?
Hopper is the merchant of record, so we will handle the payment and the disbursement of that payment to our property management partners and hosts alike.
Got it. So very similar to the Airbnb model where they handle everything and then pass the revenue through to the property manager. That's great. Okay. For everyone, what do you use for property management to address customer concerns that come through as a result of the channel? This question is really just, I think, more towards Guesty, actually, I realize. So this is where property management software comes in. Because Guesty is able to connect to all these channels, that's not just for availability and pricing, that's also for messaging. So you're able to manage all customer concerns from one inbox within Guesty and message them on the individual platforms via email, via SMS, whatever means you want to communicate with the guests. That's how you can do it all from one place instead of having to log into Marriott, log into Hopper, log into Booking.com, log into Vrbo. You're doing it all from that one place. Okay. Fabio, I have a question for you here from the crowd. What kind of strategy do you have in attracting early bookers in particular? So let's say 3 months plus out. What types of strategies are you implementing to try to capture those that type of persona?
Select the correct channel. So some of the channels have promotions for early bookers. You can use that. In the case, for example, again, specific market of Orlando, I target the international markets. So I understand, okay, what are the big international markets for Orlando? Because usually international markets, they have to do an international flight. So it's not like a US, you say, oh, I'm going to go tomorrow to Disney. So you have to like schedule, see availability. So they book in advance. So most of the times, what I'm doing is selecting the correct channels and using the tools that they provide as promotions, things like that, and targeting international channels to the destination, because then they usually book in advance.
Awesome. I would also say, just from my experience with other customers, you're able to figure out what is that core demographic of early bookers by messing around with your pricing, depending on how far out you are from that check-in date, to see where's the fish going to bite. The further out you are, the higher pricing you can experiment with, because you have more time to burn effectively until you really need to get that occupancy snatched up. So thanks for sharing that, Fabio. All right, last question for the whole group. We'll do 10-second answers from everyone here for overall. How can you leverage data and analytics to inform your multi-channel strategy? So Corey and Gregor, from the channel standpoint, what would you say to a PMC who's trying to determine what channel is a good fit for them? What should they look at to determine where their key audience may lie, or where they need to expand their audience even?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first. I think your latter question is the right one, which is who's booking your properties today and what is your occupancy? If you are 100% occupied and earning exactly what you want to earn, maybe don't change a thing. But if you are segmented entirely in one segment of the market, i.e. 50 to 80 years old, you may want to diversify your distribution a little bit and try and capture future travelers as your former customers begin traveling less. Or
Awesome. Gregor, what would you say?
Yeah, basically, I would say this question is more for Fabio than us, because he's the expert about how to differentiate the distribution, right? On our end, actually, during the presentation, we explained our focus, which is, right? So basically, we have a really clear data on our member base, and because of this, actually, we are trying to satisfy their needs. So on our end is between 35 and 50 years old customer that actually is looking to book large properties because they're traveling with the families and groups. So, but this is our niche, right? So, and Hopper has his niche. So basically, the best person to answer this, I would say again, is Fabio, because he has a clear view on how it works, and I'm sure that he put together a strategy and a process on how to select the right partner, right?
So with much fanfare to round us out here, Fabio, what would you say is your is your answer to this question?
The thing that I don't agree with Corey, just one thing, is that even though you have a success now that you're booked and you have 100% occupancy, it's always good to have to spread your reservation so you have more control on what you're doing. even though now you have like a very good return with Airbnb, start like explore it. And that, in fact, that is good because you can start exploring other channels and see how it works. Basically, I think this starts with your own inventory. So you have to understand the market that you are in, the type of homes that you have, and then go to the channel. You have to have a Q&A with the channel. Say, okay, Marriott, your target is what? Luxury homes for 35 plus. I don't have properties for that because my properties are like 2-bedroom apartments, very cheap. It's not the fit, so it doesn't make any sense to connect with Marriott because nobody's going to book my property through Marriott. So I think it first starts with the target that you want for your properties, and then go to the channels, understand each channel, and then get the bookings from each channel.
Nice. All right. Glad we got to hear from so many different voices today on this topic. Hopefully you've been convinced in the crowd to explore some additional channel diversification with some new exciting options like Hopper and Marriott coming to the Guesty integration suite right here, right now. If we didn't have a chance to get to your question, I do apologize. If it's specifically about Hopper and Marriott, you can reach out to those teams using the email addresses that Corey and Gregor supplied. If you missed those emails, if you just go to their website, they should have some contact information there for you as well, so you can learn. If you have any additional questions about Guesty, feel free to reach out to our marketing team. We'd be happy to schedule a demo for you or just answer whatever questions you might have. But I wanted to take the time to thank our panelists once again. Thank you, Fabio, Gregor, and Corey. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
so much.
everyone. Thank you for your time too.